One of Ayn Rand's most controversial points is that the morality of altruism not only is not good, as we've been taught, but is actually evil. It's a morality that is destructive for one's life. She claims that altruism is not about being kind, it's not about being benevolent. She says that altruism has a darker essence, and the essence of altruism is that you have a duty to sacrifice for others. Now, what this means is that the measure of how good you are is the measure of how much you sacrifice, the measure of how much you give up, the measure of how much you renounce. And it becomes clear how this would be destructive for one's life, because then you can do nothing to pursue the things that are important to you, and your whole life would be just today, for whom do I give up? Now, the critics of Ayn Rand claim that she's attacking a straw man. They actually claim that no one actually says that altruism is about sacrificing and measuring how much you give up. They say the conventional view that altruism is about just help your neighbor. Here is a case study that actually proves that Rand is right and actually proves that Rand does not attack a straw man. And this case study is the criticism that YouTuber MrBeast has received about his charitable endeavors. You know MrBeast, he's the most successful YouTuber. At the moment he has more than 200 million subscribers. He creates these viral videos where he does these extraordinary things. He buries himself, he stays stranded in the sea, things like that. But also some of his viral videos has to do with him being extra generous to people. For example, tipping a waiter with a gold nugget, tipping a pizza delivery guy by giving him a house, or more importantly, building water wells in Africa, giving clean water to people who didn't have access to clean water, and sponsoring an eye operation for 1,000 people who couldn't see, and after the operation they could see clearly. Now, one would expect that if indeed altruism is about helping people in need, then MrBeast would actually have universal approval. And yet we see that there is one category of actually leftists, of people who politically on the left, who are not convinced about MrBeast's moral status. Now, I've done recently some research on these left-wing critics of MrBeast. It's for an article that is going to come out hopefully in New Ideal. I will link it when it's out. And I found these themes in the left-wing critics of MrBeast, which actually shed light on what is the essence of altruism. So, all these criticisms believe that, actually begin by saying, look, obviously we have to admit that what MrBeast does is something good. After all, there were these people who couldn't see, and now they can see. They do this because they have to pay lip service to the idea that, of course, it's important to help others. But their praise is followed by a huge but. Yes, MrBeast did something good, but. And what is this but? This but is that he also had something to benefit from his charity. He gave things to people in need, he was generous, but also he received something. They point out that his videos became viral. And this means money from monetizing his channel or from sponsorships, or overall it's good for him. Some other critics claim that MrBeast not only gained money from his charitable endeavors, but he's a guy who seems to be having a good time. And he's having fun with all this. There was an article in Current Affairs that mentioned something like, it's distasteful that the guy who in one video he helps 1,000 people get their eyesight back is the same guy who in another video eats an ice cream, the most expensive ice cream in the world. So there's extravagance. And at this point, we need to ask a question. If altruism is indeed about helping others, if altruism is indeed about the fact that those in need receive the help that they want, that they need, why is it a problem what the giver of this help also gets? Why is it a problem that the altruistic, let's say, act is win-win? Why is it a problem that MrBeast becomes rich during this procedure? If indeed the aim is to help the poor, if indeed the aim is to help those in need, why does it matter that MrBeast also benefits from it? I mean, that's an important question, right? Because it's a question that would unlock the key to what altruism is about. If altruism is about let's help those who are in need, then who cares why MrBeast did it or what did he take out of it? But the fact that according to the professional, let's say, altruists or to the left-wing critics of MrBeast, the fact that there's this moral shadow over MrBeast because of the fact that he also had some self-interested benefit from his charitable endeavors show us that altruism is not about the benefit to the receiver. Altruism is about the cost to the giver. You want the proof of that? Compare how our society, and particularly the people who are consistent altruists, how they would measure MrBeast versus Mother Teresa. Now, MrBeast is rich. He's objectively doing a lot to help, so his charity has measurable, quantitatively important result. Many Africans get water, many people get their eyesight. Whereas Mother Teresa objectively did not significantly help many people. But what she did is that while helping these people, she suffered a lot. She had nothing. So on the one hand, MrBeast helps a lot, but he's happy, he's rich, he's still a millionaire. Mother Teresa helps a little, if at all, but during this process she suffers and she gives up everything. Every proper altruist would tell you that Mother Teresa is more praiseworthy. But if she's more praiseworthy, then this shows us that altruism is not really about how much benefit those in need get. Altruism is about how much suffering the giver of this help experiences. So altruism is about suffering. Here's another example. I read some articles in the Jacobin magazine, a left-wing publication. Articles that are very critical of the charitable endeavors of very rich people. They give the example of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now notice, this is a foundation that every year gives away something like $3 billion, with a B, $3 billion. And the article claims that there are very questionable motives there, because Bill Gates is very rich, he has benefited from a system that he helps to perpetuate, and he gives only to causes that he considers important. So at the end of the day, Bill Gates and Melinda Gates are self-interested. Therefore, even if they give away $3 billion, they're morally suspicious. But Jacobin takes it a step further. They suggest that maybe we should reconsider the tax cuts that the rich receive for giving away to charity. If you know the system in the United States, when you give to charity, this is deductible from your taxes. So you have a motive to give more to charity. And Jacobin says maybe we should reconsider that. Now, think about what this shows us. Think about how this reveals the true motive of these people. If you make charity more expensive, obviously, people will give less to charity. This means that people who need the help will receive less. And yet, for these people, for these people who support that Bill Gates and all that stuff are morally suspicious, this doesn't matter. They would rather Bill Gates having less than those in need having more. Of course, they will rationalize it. They will say, oh, no, this is just because it's because of the Bill Gates of this world and the system that they support that they are poor people or people in need. Of course, this is not only a lie, this is a massive cope. So, turns out Ayn Rand was not attacking a straw man. Turns out altruism is not about how much benefit those in need get. Altruism is literally about you. Altruism is a command that you should suffer, is a command that you should give up. And notice, it is suffering for its own sake. It's not like, let's say, David Goggins says you should suffer because you should achieve something higher, or through suffering you become better. No. It's suffering for its own sake. Pain and giving up and renouncing for its own sake. Now, I'm someone who, it deeply pains me when I see people suffering unnecessarily. But at the same time, I believe that this morality that tells you that your goal is to suffer and give up, I find it a vicious morality. I found it an insidious morality. I find it a morality which is a guarantee for a destructive life. And for what it's worth, it's a morality that doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't even benefit the people it claims to benefit. So it turns out Ayn Rand was once more right.